Thank you so much for having me here tonight. It is indeed a pleasure and an honor for me to be with the Ventura County Sportfishing Club. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my sport fishing history, my personal history. I'll get to what we're doing right now with our YouTube channel, which is called Friedman Adventures. You can find that on YouTube. You can also find it over there on TikTok, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. So we're on all the media platforms. Had 10 million views the past month. So we've gained some traction and really moving along. I'll tell you all about that. I want to start with telling you that Ventura means something to me personally. My niece, Connie, is a doctor at Ventura County Hospital. So I get to see her when I come up here. And this guy, Robert Graber, anytime I go fishing up here, he'll say, hey, can I give Connie my fish today? So he'll catch the fish, have them filleted, and then Connie gets them. I know if he ever gets in a serious accident, he's going to look for her to save his life. So that's great. My dad played for Ventura Junior College, played football. His number was 23. He played actually in the Rose Bowl. They had one of their games in the Rose Bowl, and that was against Pasadena City College. And my dad, I think he exaggerated on this one. I have the program, so part of this is true. But he said he made an open field tackle on Jackie Robinson, who was playing for Pasadena City College. I've got that program up in my house. So beautiful stuff, I got to tell you. So I have that connection for sure. So real quick, back in 1985, I started a company called 976 Tuna. I don't know if any of you old timers remember that. That was a phone number you could dial and get the very latest fishing information. Before the internet, before any of this, available information. You guys remember, you'd wait in the morning for the LA Times, you'd look in the fish report, you'd make your plans to go fishing. And I said, there's got to be a better way. And maybe even if the info was only 12 hours earlier, I thought it would go. So when I started 976 Tuna, first night, I was a school teacher over at Bishop Montgomery High School, my alma mater, Catholic school in Torrance. We had like 2 phone calls. I think I made $1.50. And then we had 4 phone calls, and then back down to 3 phone calls. Meanwhile, I'm walking every landing, putting flyers on the cars, just, trying to do this in my spare time when I wasn't teaching. And my college professor, a guy by the name of Peter Hoffman, called me up one morning and he said, have you seen the LA Times this morning? And I said, no. And he said, dude, a guy by the name of Art Grutzky wrote an entire column on your phone number, 976 Tuna. 3,000 calls that day. $4,500 that day. My mom looked at it from a guy that dropped out of law school. The only reason I got into law school is my mom made the best prime rib for the Jesuits up at Loyola, and they threw me into law school. But she's like, what is going on? And we'd get 4,000 calls. We'd dip down to 1,000 calls. And that went on for several years. And that's really my first professional kind of entrance into the business. But I started way back when I was 12 years old on the Redondo Special. I was a pinhead. I graduated to running a commercial boat out of Redondo. I went down, worked for Frank LaPresti on the Searcher for a couple of years when he was running that boat, and then went through the whole thing. And then I ended up, to go to my personal history now, I went to Bishop Montgomery High School, so I blew my knee to shreds. I like to say it was a football injury, but I was goofing around on a toboggan, blew my knee to shreds, was in the hospital, and a priest came up, Father Ignatius, to visit me, and he said, hey, what are you doing when you get out of here? I'm not sure, Father. He goes, why don't you go to Costa Rica with me? I'm going down there in the missions. We'll find something for you to do. Okay. So I went and told my parents, and my parents said, you're going. There's no discussion, you're going. So I went to Costa Rica, spent a year there, learned Spanish, which I was unable to do with 3 years of high school Spanish. Learned Spanish, ultimately kept going back to the country because I liked it so much. Married a girl 30 years ago from Costa Rica. So that was a blessing to me. I ended up also with that same priest in Mexico for 2 years doing Catholic mission stuff. And, pretty much, it really required you to be off with the kids, kind of trying to keep them quiet while the padre was doing mass or whatever. The kids were too young. And one of those stints that I spent in Mexico was in a place called Tlaxcala. I know, try that after a glass of wine. It'll probably come out better. Tlaxcala was an Amusco Indian village where the people there really didn't speak Spanish, most of them. They spoke their own dialect, Musco. And I can remember my first day walking out there, and this cutest little Indian girl, Carmela, would look at me and then look away, would look at me and look away. And I said, ¿qué es el problema? What's the problem? She spoke a little Spanish. And she goes, I have never seen a person with cat eyes in my life. Ojos azules, blue eyes. She couldn't believe that. And they were also so primitive in Tlaxcala that they had no clocks. There was no electricity out there. The Padres had a little bit of some kind of a generator that would keep things going. So you literally had to point at the sun to tell them what time class was, or we'll meet you at this time. No, I was solo. Kids were showing up at midnight with me because I had no idea what to do or where to point. So that was part of my whole growing up, doing that. And of course, when I learned all of these great new places in Mexico and Costa Rica, of course, I was going to go back and fish in those areas. And I ultimately did that. But my entrance into the business, what really got me in, was when I was at Pinhead on the Redondo Special. A deckhand walked up to me one day and said, how would you like to scrub the boat at night and go fishing for free? And I thought I died and gone to heaven. Oh, are you kidding me? I'll just scrub the boat for free. If people look at me like I'm part of the crew, that's good enough, man. I want to wear my deck boots everywhere. My parents are like, you can't wear those into Denny's tonight. They take those off. Because you felt like you were part of something a little bit bigger, the fishing industry. So I absolutely love the fishing industry. And that, of course, takes us to where we are today. Friedman Adventures on YouTube, which is a YouTube channel. So it's like a TV channel more than anything else. And we have to put out content every day. Before I came here, we went over to Eric's Tackle. I did a 40-minute piece with him. That will air on Monday. I did a little bit of other. This is actually going to be on. You can see Anthony over there, the dog. By the way, it's his birthday today. Can we give him the dog's birthday? So this will be on YouTube also, probably Tuesday, let's say. So there's this constant need to get content out there, but it should be decent content. You don't want to be pushing junk out there. So it takes a lot of editing. It takes a lot of work. Every morning I'm up at 4:30. My work day, I'll give you my work day. Up at 4:30, researching what's going on from Cabo San Lucas to San Francisco, getting that all penned out, walking on the beach, filming what we call the morning briefing, which is just one of several shows we do. The morning briefing gives an update on all the fishing in that geographical area so that people can hear the very latest. Not only hear it though, back in 976 tuna days, you could hear it, but you couldn't see it. And now you can actually see it because we play video. I'll lay video over of the wahoo that was caught by the American angler the other day. And so every morning I'm doing that. And then that's got to go on all the social media. So it's got to go on Instagram, Facebook, all these different platforms. And then that just drives the thing. We have live shows that we do every week. On Monday night, we do a show called the Danny Cadota Show. I don't know if any of you have ever fished with Danny, very famous captain. Yeah, some of you guys, he ran the Mustang for 20 years, something like that. Big bass fisherman. Danny, we do his show on Mondays at 4. Then at 6, we do a show called Tackle Shop Confessions. And that is filmed at Island Fishing Tackle. And people can interact in that show. So you can say, hey, I bought this reel. What rod would you pair that with? And Sam will run out, get the rod, show the person who's watching this in his living room and enjoying exactly what we are talking about. We have great raffles that we do on a regular basis. In fact, Rich Campos, who was here just for a moment, he took home a brand new reel tonight. So we have all these live shows. And then, of course, we do fishing trips like you guys do your charters. We just did one on the Apollo, went out to Cortez Bank. Very good, steady fishing on small grade bluefin, 10 to 30 pound fish, 25 pound fluorocarbon, good hot bait. Change that bait regularly. How many times have you heard this before, right? A million times. But that's really what produced all the bites for us. And then that night, we were kind of pointed towards San Clemente, but we were kind of moseying around and we had a hit on 60 to 180 pound bluefin. We had a really good bite on that with anybody who dropped a jig down, got bit, and we got most all those fish, 15 fish, excuse me. So we had a really, really good bite. So the goal with Friedman Adventures is to inform, to entertain. We try to be entertaining, so we're not, if I see you guys starting to fall asleep, or this gentleman, like if his head ends up in that hamburger, I know I've talked long enough and I've got to slow down. So we try to make sure it's entertaining, that it's lots of fun, and I make a conscious effort to go out and interview people that are like my age, because I realize we're not going to be around that much, some of us, and I want to get that history. There you go. I mean, I went out, Mike Reed's a captain. I got Mike. I got Eddie Leland before he passed away, was a captain. I want to have that so that, well, for example, Eddie Leland was a dear friend of mine, and I did several podcasts with him, and he got really sick with cancer. He passed away. And I thought, this is good because people like you can go back and listen. But the thing that really drove it home to me was his daughter called me one day and said, I still hear my dad's voice. If I want to hear his voice, I can go watch one of your podcasts. So that really made the whole thing worthwhile to me. So that's a beautiful thing. So we do a lot of that kind of interviews. We try to preserve the history of sport fishing. And also, I'll move you into we're doing a nonprofit coming up. The nonprofit we're going to do is simply about getting more people outdoors. Fishing's a great vehicle for that, but I don't care if you go out for a hike or you go out and you surf or whatever. Too many kids, when you I think what we're going to try to do, it's a monumental task. When parents hand their kids that smartphone, I don't think they know they're handing them a loaded gun in many ways. I don't think we know the detrimental effect that those phones are going to have 20 years down the line with kids who no longer are social. They don't need to go out and talk to anybody. They talk to everybody online. That you see that the incidents with adolescent girls since the inception of Instagram, cutting went up by 200%. That was never, ever a thing. There's some really bad effects to not going out and putting your toes in the sand, to not going out and going fishing. It's more than fishing now. It is more about saving kids' lives and getting them going in the right direction. And not only kids, I know some friends of mine, older guys, man, and they spend their whole day sitting on the couch going like this. I watched one guy the other day take a phone call, and he was talking on the phone, and he was going like this the entire 20-minute phone call. I mean, that's why we fish. That's why we get out. We get to interact with one another, just like tonight. The interaction, the fact that you have people that you can rely on, the fact that that you get out and get some vitamin D. So we're not only doing that here in the United States, definitely want to do that with our wheelchair. Some paraplegic guys, we were out with them the other day. They were catching yellowtail at the Coronado Islands. Just watching them, the videos on Friedman Adventures, was so inspirational. So, I'm not perfect. I get lazy too. All I got to do is put that video on now and say, man, what am I doing sitting around? So we're not only going to do that here, we're also doing it across the border in Mexico. We're helping kids there. Our next project in Mexico, get this. I thought this was great. Z Custom Rods. Chuck Zimmer said, Phil, what do you think about this? We're going to get 12 rod blanks. We're going to take them down. We're going to give them to some kids. So we got the kids out of an orphanage. We're going to spend 6 hours and wrap the rod with them, each kid with an instructor. Then we're going to take them fishing the next day. I'm like, abso-freaking-lutely. I'm in. Yeah, so we're doing that January something. I forget when it is exactly. We're going down to Mexico. We're going to take these kids, and maybe one of them will have the artistic ability or will really like it that maybe they start a little homegrown business in Mexico where things are a little bit tougher, like there's no safety net there or any of that, and maybe it will ignite a love for fishing and a love for making these rods. And if we got one kid out of 100 to do that, man, we would be stoked. And of course, a lot of this we will focus on our military guys, that women and men that give their all for our country. Also our first responders. There's a lot of guys out there who need the outdoors, who need, seriously need it. They need that experience. So definitely we're going to head in that direction with our nonprofit. I could cover a little bit of fishing info with you, and then I'm happy to entertain questions until you're sick and tired of me, which may be already right now. But fishing-wise, that yellowfin tuna is continuing to move up the coast. Talking to some of the Ensenada Pongueros early this morning, they had really excellent fishing on small grade, like 20-pound yellowfin tuna. There's quite a bit of Dorado down there off San Quintin, which is 140 miles below the border. There's been some good fishing down there. A guy that runs a yacht out of San Diego, Jeff Lingle, told me that he found a kelp with 20 fish on it, and there's another yacht down there catching them. So that's been really, really good. Our bluefin bite, we had a great trip on board the Apollo. We were limited out for 2 days by 12 noon, just shortly after 12 noon. We still had crew limits to go, so we kept that as our ace in the hole in case we found those big fish at night. And we did find, we got a good piece of that with 15 fish. San Clemente Island, some of those big yellowtails still biting there. You guys in the Channel Islands, this place when I was growing up, Channel Islands, yeah, you can go up there and catch lingcod. And you catch some rockfish, but it's all that, you know, just rock. This place is the epicenter of sport fishing in Southern California now with the sea bass and the halibut. They're not biting right now, but it's been a phenomenal year on all of that. I asked Eric over there at Eric's Fishing Tackle, have you ever seen better fishing than this? And he said, I don't think so. And I said, thank God, because I've been saying that for some time. And as long as you're going to affirm that, I thought that was really, really great. We, I think, have a chance, depends upon water and everything else, but I think we have a chance for that Dorado and yellowfin maybe to squirt up the coast a little bit further and maybe get into our local water. That's all going to be determined, as you all know, by oceanography. Yellowfin like that, you know, you can find them in 66 degree water, but they like that 70 degrees, 70 and above that. So that is what we're looking at there, and that bluefin just continues to bite really, really well. American Angler had a wahoo at 168 miles south of the border. Maybe just one fish, but maybe a sign of things to come. And then right after that, they continued trolling, caught a big eye tuna. Some of you old timers remember some of the wide open big eye tuna bites we've had down there in San Diego years ago. They were really, really good. So, in short, Friedman Adventures seeks to bring you all of that, but we're trying to make the world a better place. The dog over there, I mentioned to you that it's his birthday. He said to me the other day, how long is a passport good for? And I said, 10 years. And he goes, oh, okay. And then I said, whoa, wait a minute. You know, you get like 7 of those in your lifetime, maybe 8. And I'm on like number 6. Whoa. You know, that kind of put things in perspective. And when you get like some of us, when you get old, you kind of, you know, you want to leave this place by making the world a better place if at all possible. And we're definitely trying to do that with our new nonprofit. We're going to do a lot down in Mexico. We're going to do a lot up here in the U.S. If anybody here knows how to wrap a rod and would like to come to Mexico, man, talk to me after the meeting, reach out to me. You don't only have to know how to wrap a rod. If you are a kind person and you want to teach a kid to go fishing the subsequent day, all of that is within the realm of what we're looking for in people. And all I have to do is look out at all you folks, and I can see the smiling faces and the good people, and I know you're those kinds of people. So thank you so much. It's been an honor and a pleasure for me to be here. If you have any questions at all, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Do you think the yellowfin are going to get up here?
Hard to say. I don't know what the water temps are up here. I haven't looked at that. I've been looking more out there at Cortez.
They'll warm up and then they'll go back down. They'll warm up.
Yeah,
That's up here.
Yes.
I don't know about down south.
You know, I mean, they don't have to quite get all the way up here. If they get out there, you know, maybe like near Nicholas or the west end of Clemente,
Yeah.
you guys will have a shot at it then.
So I've
You
been
know.
seeing the Aztecs been getting them.
Yeah.
So basically, you could go down to San Diego, jump on a day and a half, and probably get into them.
Yes, definitely. There's good fish off Ensenada. Now, having said that, San Diego the last 2 days has struck out,
Yeah.
but that's, you know, it's a little inconsistent. But for the
Maybe it's
most part, you get down about 55 to 100 miles south of the border, and you're in good yellowfin.
Yeah.
Yellowfin, Dorado, and you know that wahoo is kind of interesting.
Yeah, very
Yeah, and a big eye tuna. So that's it's hard to say.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I really do hope so. Anybody else?
I was on the Legend.
Yes.
We watched them drop the buoy there. That steamer ran over in the channel. We watched them drop the buoy, you know, on the mark out there.
Yeah.
And it was non-stop, you know, all day long.
Yellowfin?
Yeah.
Oh, great. And what grade were you catching?
They were all 20, 25 pounds.
Those are nice. Yeah.
So
Was that
I mean, they're there.
Day and a half?
That was a 2-day trip.
2 day.
Yeah, that was from Fishing Fools from
Yeah.
Chatsworth.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were you on that trip too? Yeah. You were. I got your sticker on my car. Yeah. So we got him. We knocked fire.
Yeah, that's great. This guy right here, Travis Bright. How big was your fish, that bluefin? That was a nice one. Yeah, it was like a 120, 130. He had a nice
Our
one.
jackpot fish was like near 70 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, there was some good grade of fish that came off there. Not like what you got, but they were nice.
Yeah, we were really
Look at
lucky.
the peak of the bite.
Yeah, we got lucky on that. That was just like 5 days ago.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and it was really, really excellent. And the greatest thing about it was we had a 9-year-old kid on the boat, never caught a fish in his life. His dad, big fan of Friedman Adventures, flew in from Texas with him. I think he had 11 bluefin tuna on that trip. And it was just to see his smile was priceless. You know, it was really a beautiful thing. Anybody else? I'm more than happy. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Do you ever document Eddie McHugh, captain of the Pacific Fleet?
You know, that is a regret that I have. I don't know how many of you knew Eddie McEwen. Eddie and I were very, very close. I loved Eddie. He was one of the hardest fishermen, but he was genuinely a nice man. He was a really good guy. We talked all the time on the phone, and I never got to do that with him. I think I was doing all 976 tuna most of those days. Now it's mostly all video that we're doing, but Eddie was a prince of a guy. He ran the Pacific Queen. He told me that, and I believe him, he said, I can smell albacore before we get to him. I can smell up here in the wheelhouse. And I believed him. He had one eye that he couldn't see out of, but he could spy fish up from a great distance. He was a great guy. He helped me out, like when I was going on a private boat, I'd call him up and get numbers from him and put us right on it. And I used to talk to him when I had a VHF radio in my office back in those days, and I would call him all the time. And he's a gentleman. I regret not having some video or sitting down with him for an hour and a half, because, you know, I'd go back and watch that. I love that guy so much. Yeah, he was a great, great person. Eddie, Lopreste, I got to get Frank, because Frank's getting up there. Frank, just kidding. Frank's getting up there, and my Frank Lopreste story is when I was a pinhead in Redondo, Pat Conklin, who's a pretty famous captain, he said, just go down there to the searcher at Fisherman's Landing and tell him I sent you and you can go for free. And I'm like, yeah, right. And he goes, I'm telling you what to do. So we go down. My brother and I are both standing there on the docks with our rods, looking around, and here comes Frank. You know, he was described to us. I didn't know who he was, but he's big in those days, like over 300 pounds, big guy. And here he comes, and I go to my brother, are you going to ask him? And he's like, I don't know. And I go, ask him. And ask him. And he goes walking by us, and I go, Paul, we friggin' drove all the way from Torrance to do this. So here he's coming back again, and he gets close. I'm profusely sweating at this point. I'm like 17 or whatever I was. And I go, excuse me, sir, Pat Conklin said we could go fishing with you for free if we were deckhands on the Redondo Special. And he looks at me, and he just walks away. And I go, great, this really is the worst. And then here he comes again. We didn't have time to run. You know, we were like, let's get the hell out of here. He comes, walks, stops, and he said, get your gear on the boat. And we're like, oh my God, I can't believe Pat was really right. We're going fishing on the Searcher. And then I worked on that boat for some time. Norm Kagawa, who bought and owned the Shogun, he was a deckhand on there. Leroy was a deckhand on there. They took us under their wing. Frank was great with us, treated us great, taught us a lot about fishing. So yeah, that was a lot of fun back with those guys. And that was probably, I want to say that would have been the late, probably 1980, something like that. I'd have to look and see when Frank owned the Searcher and what that whole sequence was, but I'd say like 80-ish, something like that, which to me, some of us old guys doesn't sound like a long time ago. It's 45 years ago, right? It was a long time ago. Yes, sir.
You ever think the albacore are going to get back down?
Yeah, I do. I've been predicting albacore for the last 8 years, so I'm wrong every year. But I truly believe there's no problem with the stock. It's in good shape. The fishery's in great shape. Yeah, you know, by Washington and
Well, that's I just left her. With,
Yeah.
With town the Legends
yeah.
6-pack. Yeah,
Right. Killed him, right?
Killed
It's wide open. So it's oceanography.
6 of us got 116 out.
Oh my God. Yeah, I talked to a kid up there on another boat. I forget what the name of it. Same kind of a deal like that. Incredible albacore fishing.
Oh, yeah. We clean fish for 8 hours.
It's got to be oceanography, I think. It's bait, it's water temperature, it's all the stuff that albacore like.
The chovies are just
Like those big Morro Bay.
the big ones.
Yeah.
Well, they fish right out of the Columbia.
Yeah.
And all that sediment and the Townsend, whatever his name is, he was telling us they're fat and happy. The bait just love it.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
all you want.
100%.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Like-
Anybody else? So you can subscribe to Friedman Adventures. It's free, by the way. There's no cost at all. You just go to YouTube. There it is. Easy way to remember it. When I taught in China for 3 years, and they would say, "Teacher Philip, why do they call you Friedman?" I'm going, "That's my last name." So Friedman Adventures. That's a mnemonic, easy way to remember it for sure. Anything else, you guys? You guys good? Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you. Please don't forget to support the Friedman Adventures family members who make this all possible, like the taxman, Tim Marquez, and your garage door man, Joe Welker, who does a great job and gets rave reviews here at Friedman Adventures. Heating and or air conditioning needs, it's our dear friend, John Lopez, and also the Island Spirit, Ventura Sportfishing. You can't beat it. Chris Isaac and the El Patron out of Long Beach Sport Fishing, www.longbeachsportfishing.org. And if you have a leaky roof, then go visit my dear friend Brett at pelicanroofsocal.com. They'll get out, get you fixed up so you can get out and catch some more fish on your next adventure. pelicanroofsocal.com.
Get out of bed and wake up the kids, 'cause you know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Fishing reports up and down the coast with Phil Friedman, your coffee-loving host. So much fishing intel, it feels like cheating when you tune into the morning briefing. Inshore, offshore, from the surf, bluefin, yellowtail, pod, surf, perch. They'll tell you where the fish are and what they're eating when you tune into the morning briefing. So give it a like and subscribe. Hit that bell to be notified of all the fishing content coming your way. Friedman Adventures is here to make your fishing day. It's a more